The 2024-25 El Clásico might just be something we haven't seen in a long while.
By Bellingham. It's Mbappé coming on and scoring!
We are very focused about that, but this match, because it's very important to go in the break also with a victory. So this is our goal for 3 points tomorrow. This is what we want.
Same Real Madrid? Different Barcelona? What exactly is Hansi Flick to Carlo Ancelotti? Well, it's a lot, and you're about to find out.
Dancing along the edge of the box. Oh, Flick! Mbappé!
When the summer window officially closed and we saw this version of Real Madrid, it looked like we'd be getting the scariest version of a Real Madrid team we've seen since 2014. A couple of questions in defense, yes, but from the midfield forward, Federico Valverde, Jude Bellingham, Aurelien Tchouameni, Eduardo Camavinga, Luka Modric, Arda Güler, all these names, and I haven't even gotten to the attack yet. Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr., Brahim Diaz, and the new man. Except he's not so new anymore. Kylian Mbappé has sailed into life at Real Madrid relatively well. He's got the most goals for Madrid in the league so far, but there are still aspects of his game and the Madrid team in general under Ancelotti that just haven't clicked yet. But over to Catalonia now, and the new man is cooking. Hansi Dieter Flick, the man who currently has a Barcelona team inconsistent under Xavi at the top of the league. How? Well, with Hansi Flick, it's more about the playing styles. He's transformed this Barcelona team. A couple of people might believe using the word transformed with Flick at Barcelona is rushed, but already the major changes are, well, major. The way Barcelona have set up this season has been a joy to watch, and that's because of how unpredictable they've been. Hansi Flick employs a 4-2-3-1 formation to his Barcelona team. It could also be termed as a 4-3-3, largely depending on who they're up against. The biggest difference, though, has been how fluid they've been this season. Under Xavi last campaign, Barcelona looked rigid. They became so predictable, you almost kind of knew what to expect. Lamine Yamal gets the ball down the right wing and attempts to dribble. Raphinha gets the ball down the left and the same thing. Down the middle, Robert Lewandowski was the traditional centre-forward who was supposed to be on the receiving end of balls into the box. The point is, it was quite easy to figure Barcelona out last campaign. They relied on moments of individual brilliance on a lot of occasions last season, and eventually, well, they just ran out of it. Fast forward to 5 months now, and the type of football they play has been breathtaking. I did mention it being a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 depending on the opposition they face, and that's because so far, Hansi Flick has taken to detail the teams he's had to face in the league and merged it to tactics that now stand out. We know Barcelona likes to keep possession of the ball, but under Flick, they're more direct now. Every time they have the ball, instead of moving it around waiting for the space to open and then quickly getting into it, they're forcing the issue. The directness of the team is working as well, and it's getting the best out of several players, which I'll get back to in a bit. But back to Madrid now, and while the players at Barcelona have been performing at Los Blancos, it has almost felt as if something isn't quite right. On paper, or EAFC, a team like the one they have easily wins a game 5-0. And yet, while Real Madrid has gotten results in games this season, watching them play shows they've actually struggled.
What happened today is something that fortunately hasn't happened to us many times recently, and the opposing team played better than us and deserved to win. We struggled to get involved in the match.
This result was in the Champions League defeat to Lille, and before you say this was a one-off result, it's not the first time Ancelotti has used the word struggled with Madrid this season.
So we have to resist and suffer because the team isn't well balanced. We're playing very slowly, and it's taken us a lot of effort to recover the ball.
The key word there is slow. Ancelotti says his Real Madrid team have been playing slowly. Sounds odd for a team full of talent like that, but it's the truth. Looking at Real Madrid from a tactical perspective, there's not much to it, and that's because Ancelotti is a genius. His principles and the way his Real Madrid team operates is down to fluidity, quick transitions, and exploring any vulnerabilities in the opposition's defense. In other words, he just lets his players do their thing.
I could never dream of it, how it started, but you know, not just because of the performances, the goals and all that kind of thing, but just the feeling you get playing for the club. You guys obviously play for huge clubs, but it's just that feeling every day, you know, you get to put the badge on your chest and you feel like you're so grateful to be there, you know, and yeah, long may it continue, hopefully more nights like these.
Jude Bellingham sums up what Ancelotti is in a nutshell. He allows the players to do their thing, and it seems it's because of this that Madrid has been struggling this season. For one thing, they haven't managed to replace this guy. Still on Ancelotti, allowing the Real Madrid players the freedom to play. Toni Kroos used to be the guy who dictated the tempo at Real Madrid. Short or long passes, fast play or building it up, his vision and ability to control the game made him an asset to that Real Madrid team, and in truth, they haven't managed to replace him. We've seen a lot of instances this season where Real Madrid has struggled because they haven't managed to find the right balance in the game. In the 1-1 draw versus Las Palmas, for example, they had an XG of 2.95 and still ended up drawing the game. In midfield, Aurelien Tchouameni played in that deep role Kroos used to play. He completed the most passes in the game, but they lacked that incisive touch or the type that could open up opposition defenses. It's only now we're realizing just how big a miss Kroos is to this team. The forwards got the praise from last season, but it was a result of key splitting passes coming in from midfield. Where Real Madrid has struggled in La Liga, Barcelona has gotten even better. But the top of the league is one thing, but it's how they've been playing that's got people talking. The numbers don't lie. In the 11 games they've played this season, Barcelona has scored 34 goals. That's on average 3 goals per game. After hitting 6 wins at the start of the season, they equaled the best start to a season since 2017-18 under Ernesto Valverde. And for context, they were 1 match day off completing an invincible campaign that year. Just like Carlo Ancelotti, Hansi Flick's decision to give the team the freedom to play has been working a treat so far. I'll tell you how, and we haven't even gone to the juicy stuff yet. But first, see that subscribe button to Football Historia? Just click it. The form players like Raphinha and Lewandowski have been in so far has been a joy to watch, and it's all down to how Hansi Flick is getting the best out of them. With Robert Lewandowski, even at 36 years old, he's like a player reborn under him, like we're getting back to the 2020 version of Lewandowski that stunned the world. Yeah, him. It's not just the goals he's scoring, but the positions he's picking up. For example, his goal against Real Madrid. Watching Lewandowski drop into the space for Raphinha to run in behind, we're going to be seeing a lot of that this season. And that's because going forward, Hansi Flick wants his team to be as fluid and direct as possible. Now, Flick's a genius. Why? Well, he understands that the Barcelona DNA is built around possession-based football. That's the culture of the club down to La Masia. And he's made sure his direct style of play only modifies it and doesn't completely change the club's principles. Barcelona still keep the ball, but now they want it a lot more. They've recorded 8.7 turnovers this season, which means winning the ball within 40 meters of the opposition's goal line. Breaking this down means they're pushing to win the ball from the front. Last season, when the team attempted to press under Xavi, it was disjointed and at times very easy to beat. The attack is coordinated now. He's even got players you didn't expect pulling up defensive numbers. When you think of Lamine Yamal this season, you think of how good he's been in the attacking third. The dribbles, goals and assists. He's been a total package so far, but he's adding even more to his game. Lamine Yamal has 7 tackles in the final third this season. That's more than any other player in the league so far. All of this is when they're chasing the ball. In possession, Barcelona has equally looked as solid. Think about the old Barcelona for a bit, especially in that 4-3-3 role. They always had one holding midfielder, usually in Sergio Busquets or Frenkie de Jong, sitting and dictating the play. Busquets was elite, you couldn't press him. Frenkie de Jong to a large extent too, but the point is, pretty soon, it became very easy to bypass the Barcelona midfield, and Flick has found a solution to that. By using double pivots now, they look better suited in that area. See, the deep lying position in midfield is particularly important to how Barcelona and Flick want to play, advancing the attack this season. 42% of Barcelona's attack has been down the middle, and it starts from having 2 players in there with the legs and technical ability to both win the ball and progress an attack. By focusing the play down the middle, Flick overloads this area, and the bottom line is, no matter who they face, Barcelona will always be superior down the middle now. Raphinha has had a more than excellent start to the season. He even got his first hat-trick for Barcelona against Real Madrid, as well as putting in his fair share of having the play possession regained, with 27 in the league. And all of this is because of the position he's taken up. Flick understands how good Raphinha is with the ball, and also because he wants to overload that central area. He has him playing more as a number 10. Factor this with having players like Robert Lewandowski also drop into that place, as well as an extra midfielder. And what this means is when teams try to play down the middle against Barcelona, one of the extra midfielders drops in to make it a 3. Raphinha can even drop in to make it a 4, and even Lewandowski to add an extra body in there. They always have the numbers advantage. Back to struggling Real Madrid now, and for all the talk of a struggling team, in attack they've been exciting to watch. Kylian Mbappé has 7 goals this season, Vinicius Jr. has 4, Rodrigo has 3, Endrick has 2, and before anyone mentions anything about penalties, just remember it's as easy to miss as it is hard to score. That Real Madrid is struggling to replace Toni Kroos is only normal. Then again, it's Real Madrid, it's Carlo Ancelotti, and we've seen them continue to perform without the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Sergio Ramos, and Karim Benzema. Real Madrid always finds a way. So here's the deal. Should Carlo Ancelotti really be scared of Hansi Flick? Well, it works both ways. On one hand, Flick's tactics are revolutionary. A Barcelona team that wants the ball, but isn't relying on possession or quick interplay to draw teams out, they're going to attack Real Madrid heavy on, and that'll be something. On the other hand though, as we've seen so far this season, the downside to Hansi Flick's tactics is that pushing up so high, which they do, the average position of the centre-backs is a few metres below the halfway line. Well, this means that they're one ball over the top away from getting countered. And if there's one thing we've learned from Carlo Ancelotti teams over the years, is that you do not give them space at the slightest bit. Expect Barcelona to push up, and expect Real Madrid to sit and wait for the counter-attack. The pace they've got up front on the run is frightening. And the thought of Mbappé, Rodrigo and Vinicius running any backline is scary enough. Real Madrid hasn't been flawless as well, defensively. They've also got a couple of issues this season. Dani Carvajal is out with an ACL injury for the rest of the season. David Alaba is yet to return. They haven't exactly got a replacement for Nacho, who left in the summer. Madrid has looked shaky in defense this season, and they're short-staffed in that position as well. Injuries have played a part. The same can be said about Barcelona, and it just goes down to the crazy job Hansi Flick is doing. They've got injury concerns, with ter Stegen out for the rest of the season with a patella injury. The same applies to breakout star Marc Bernal as well. Gavi is yet to return from his ACL injury. Frankie de Jong isn't match fit. All these problems, and so far we haven't heard Hansi Flick complain. He's just making the best out of the squad he's got. The season is like a marathon, which means we're ultimately bound to see even more results and performances from both teams along the way. But for now, with everything we've seen so far, Hansi Flick and Barcelona are cooking. Real Madrid will be very careful to avoid this, but it doesn't mean Carlo Ancelotti should be scared. It's him, it's Real Madrid. And heck, if it all goes bad, he can call the last line of defense. And do that. Ancelotti and Flick meeting for the first time in La Liga in a couple of weeks will open another chapter in the exciting history of Spanish football over the years. And you can check it out in the next video, The Untold History of Spanish Football.